Ladies, gentlemen, and legends of all ages, there are a lot of things worth doing in Pokémon Legends Z-A, and while some of them are just exploration or combat in general, there is also a whole shopping and trading aspect to this game that can get you a lot of great important stuff, both in terms of actual power through stuff like items and importantly Mega Stones, so you can get the Mega versions of your favorite Pokémon, but then it of course also extends to shopping for clothes because, I mean, come on, who doesn't like putting at least a little bit of effort into their fashion given the choice? And there's tons of choice to be had in this game. That to say, today we're going to focus on how to get the most money and Mega Shards possible in the early to mid game so that you can purchase anything your heart desires as early as you possibly can. Before we even get into any particular specifics, we should talk about the Canari plushes. You get the red Canari plush for free during story mission 5. Past that point, you can travel to this building here on your map, which is the construction company, and outside of the building is an NPC who will trade you Canari plushies for colorful screws. The screws themselves are attached to the scaffolding parkour challenges all over the map, and we have a video up on the channel already that shows the location for 26 early screws if you don't have enough of them already for the relevant plushies we're about to talk about. The pink Canari plush increases the amount of Mega Shards that you get when you break a Mega Crystal. This is very important if you want to efficiently farm Mega Shards, which we'll be talking about in this video. The gold Canari plush specifically increases the prize money from battles, which on the surface may seem like it's not that helpful. After all, the only actual money rewarding battles are in main missions, side missions, and ranked battles for the most part, which would be relatively niche, but this does apply very specifically to the conversion rate of medals into money at the end of a night from the ZA Royale, meaning that while it does not increase the amount of medals you get from each trainer defeated during the activity, and I did check, it does increase the rate at which it changes the medals into money at the end of the night. By default, every medal would be worth 10 money. With all 3 ranks of the gold Canari plush, it goes up to being 15 money for each medal, so a 50% bonus when fully applied. This actually makes it even more valuable than if it were to only apply to the trainer rewards itself, because this means that it will also apply to the medals that you find on the floor during the night and the medals from the battle cards as well, and you're probably picking up on what's going to be happening here, so let's get into the talk about money farming specifically. There are 3 methods of money farming. One big main one that is just very active, it involves a ton of combat, but it's better than the rest. One relatively passive one you can just do like fully brain off, like while you're watching a movie on your other screen, or even just while you're wandering around, whatever it is you want to be doing, just a way to do this simply, even if it is less efficient. And the third way is something worth calling out that isn't so much of a farm as just an activity worth your time and attention. The main farm method for money then is quite simply ZA Royale, the activity that takes place every night in the city. The exact rate of money you get from this will depend on your rank, as the trainers that show up are all relative to your own rank. The rank of the trainer that you defeat defines how many medals you get from them when you defeat them. As well, the battle cards in this activity get significantly more valuable the higher rank you are. I would say the real breakpoint where money farming becomes properly worth doing as far as the value to time ratio is after you have finished story mission 10, to put it in the most spoiler-free way possible. Within the battle zone then, you have 2 main objectives. Defeat 20 trainers before the duration of the night ends, and collect as many medals as possible, mostly through the battle cards. The reason for the trainer amount specifically is that defeating trainers gives you a multiplier when you convert the medals into money at the end of the night. 5 trainers defeated brings it up to a 1.5 times multiplier of the standard amount, 10 trainers defeated bumps it up to a 2 times multiplier, and then 20 trainers defeated brings it up to a 2.5 times multiplier. I know it doesn't go up again at 25 trainers defeated, it could go up at 30 defeats, but I've not managed a night yet where I have won 30 battles, so 20 does feel like a good threshold to aim for and to recommend at this stage of the game for the 2.5 times multiplier. That's not to say that doing more trainer battles than that is bad, but 20 is your proper goal that you want to hit that bonus for. Past that, medals. You get medals for every battle that you win depending on the rank of the opponent, so higher ranked opponents are worth more medals. Higher ranked opponents can generally be found in elevated areas like up on top of rooftops, so it's good to try and spend some time up there within the battle zone if you are strong enough to handle them. While moving around the battle zone as well, you can find piles of medals on the floor that you can just pick up for free by walking over them, and these are absolutely worth walking over whenever you see them. As well, there is the battle card system. You find these in battle zones and you can hold up to 3 of them at a time. Completing a battle card gives you a set amount of medals and points. The medals are what we are after here. Generally, the more requirements a battle card has, the better rewards it will give you. If it needs you to do something 10 times, it usually usually will give you a ton of stuff in return. If it needs you to fill multiple conditions, like a sneak attack with a specific type of element for example, it will be worth a bit more than the standard ones, which are simple things like general sneak attacks or plus moves as examples. Generally speaking, any card that you can complete will be worth picking up, because the worst case scenario is that you find something you want to pick up when you already have 3 cards chosen and your slots are full, but in that case you can actually just swap one of them out and replace it. It's really not a big deal, so pick these up when you find them. That said, 20 trainers defeated gets you the 2.5 times multiplier. Aside from that, you want to just bum rush the battle cards specifically, as those do require the battles to complete them anyways, and they tend to give more medals than the raw battle rewards do too. So if you follow this, you should have tons of money very quickly, and because you can just skip time tonight using a bench whenever you want to, this is essentially a way that you can infinitely farm money for as long as you feel like. The secondary method then, it's worth noting, is far less lucrative. It's much worse money to time ratio, but it's something that you can do with pretty much zero combat and just do it completely passively, which is just simply picking up any items that you walk by on the floor. For the sparkle items, there is no button prompt required for these if you didn't know. You just need to walk close enough to them and then they will get picked up automatically. These can be a number of different things, but one of the most common results when picking these up is treasure items. Treasure is a specific item category type for things that have no purpose other than being sold for money. It includes things like tiny mushrooms, pretty feathers, pearls, nuggets, all that type of stuff. The smaller versions of these treasures can be found very commonly from these sparkly items, and these sparkles respawn after a small bit of time passes, though not with the same item each time, so there's no like guaranteed specific spot to hit up for these, but you can just continually wander around the city picking them up off the floor as you see them, and this also applies somewhat to the proper set location items, the things that you will see in Pokeballs with red glows coming off of them. These can be plenty of different things, but some of them will be the bigger treasure items that sell for a small pile of money, even though you can only pick them up once, so if you weren't picking them up before for whatever reason, you definitely should. The third thing worth talking about for money is quite simply side missions. You can only do each side mission one time, and most of them have some level of money as a reward for them, though they tend to be quite small on the money side. Some of them will also give you actual treasure items like nuggets or pearls to sell too, which is a bit more valuable, and this is useful to know because honestly side missions are worth doing for their other rewards regardless of this, but if you want to actively farm money, the best method by far is just doing the Z-A Royale with the specific goals that we outlined earlier. All that said, let's get into the second and honestly much shorter section of this video, which is mega shard farming. As mentioned earlier, just in case you skipped to this section, there is the pink Canari plush that you can buy and upgrade, and that increases the raw amount of shards that you get each time that you break a crystal, which is a very big deal if you want to properly farm these. Past that, there are a few things worth knowing. First, these crystals do respawn over time. The respawn timer seems to be 10 minutes, which is directly tied to in-game time passing. What I mean by this is you cannot make the crystals respawn faster by fast traveling around, or by resting on a bench to change time of day, or by closing the game and reopening it, or even by changing the date and time on your console itself. There is no method that I have found, as of yet at least, to speed up the resetting of these crystals, and the main sadness of this is it means that you can't really define a specific spot to farm these crystals, because there are a number of spots in the city where there is a nice dense packing of these crystals, but that doesn't really matter if they only respawn once every 10 minutes, as that means that the best method will always be to just go around collecting crystals in different spots instead of like waiting for a reset in one particularly good spot, because you would be waiting for 10 minutes, which is then just inefficient compared to moving around. All that to say, no specific locations will be talked about here, but the main trick to these is that there are different sized crystals that you can break. The medium ones are worth like 3 times as much as these small crystals, so they are super worth seeking out. I recommend destroying literally any of the mega crystals that you walk by in the world just for generic passive mega shard gains, but generally speaking, if you want to actively farm for them, you want elevation, you want height. The bigger crystals in about 90% of cases are on rooftops all around the city, or otherwise are in places that are only accessible from rooftops, meaning the places that you can only get to by climbing up to a rooftop and then jumping off of it. So if you are farming for shards, look for ladders, look for the teleportation elevators, and once you are up nice and high, you can generally see surrounding buildings and use that to work out where the crystals are and find out where you want to go to next. For some more specific tips then to speed this up while you're doing it, there are 2 types of Pokemon you will want in your party for this. Fast Pokemon with fast attacks are the biggest general cheat code to making this more efficient. A great example that you get given relatively early on in the story as a guarantee is Absol. fast Pokemon in general, but also Absol knows fast attacks. By this, I do mean cooldown, of course, as lower cooldowns means that you can spam them more often, but also every attack in the game has a different animation time as well. Absol's Slash and Night Slash attacks are both relatively quick, but the star is Quick Attack. Not only is Quick Attack a super fast animation, it is also very low cooldown, and because it is a priority move, the way that those work in this game's combat system means that it will teleport Absol to the target before attacking with it. In other words, Absol with these 3 attacks is fantastic for this in the majority of situations, especially as the Quick Attack specifically can even reach crystals on totally separate rooftops in some situations, which is pretty crazy. The second recommendation is much more specific, which is a Pokemon that has Surf as a move. Realistically, any big area affecting move will work, but Surf is just the widest one with the longest distance reach, on top of having a really simple guaranteed source. The main reason that we want this is for crystals that are densely packed like on the same rooftop, but a bit spread out. Quick Attack has a bit of an AoE on it for good crystal breaking, but anything more than a couple of feet away from your main target and you will have to be doing multiple attacks. So instead, it's nice to just have a Pokemon with a move like Surf, bring that Pokemon out, blast Surf out at an angle where it hits like 5 crystals in one go, and then swap back to your quick attacking Pokemon to clean up the smaller bits. You can get Surf as a TM from research levels at level 29, but that is a fair bit down the path, and instead the easier method is once you have unlocked Wild Zone 10 over here in the southwest, this has Slowpoke in it. Slowpoke and its evolutions are the only Pokemon in the game that naturally learn Surf from leveling up, and they do so at level 36. The Slowpoke here are generally level 30 to 31, so catch one here, get it another 5 or 6 levels, either through just raw battling or with some candies, and then you'll be able to equip Surf onto it from the menu nice and simple. That just about does it for today, everyone. Your guide to early and mid-game farming for both money and Mega Shards, which together are the 2 resources that you need for the majority of Megastone unlocks in the game, as well as a number of other useful and important things too, like fashion. I hope you all enjoyed this then, and hopefully you will be Scrooge McDuckin into a pool of money and Mega Shards in no time. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.